To the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, time to look at your report card. Since the first rankings were released, chaos has unfolded, shaking up the college football playoff race. While some teams have earned their moves up or down, others are in questionable spots. Some teams belong in the field, while others get too much credit for a lackluster resume. Let's break down the grades for every team in the latest college football playoff rankings. 1. Oregon, A+. Despite a shaky performance at Wisconsin, Oregon remains the top team in the country. Their solid resume and dominance on both sides of the ball keep them deserving of the number 1 spot. 2. Ohio State, A+. The Buckeyes are just behind Oregon. A potential win over Indiana this week could boost their resume even more. Ohio State is solid and consistent, though their loss to Oregon earlier this season is a factor in their ranking. 3. Texas A. While the Longhorns' resume isn't perfect, they're still in good shape with the inside track to the SEC championship game. They're right where they should be, but their schedule strength needs improvement. 4. Penn State, C+. Penn State has only one loss, against Ohio State, but its schedule lacks real challenges. If Indiana loses to Ohio State, Penn State's ranking should be questioned, as it doesn't have a standout win to justify its place. 5. Indiana, A. With a massive game against Ohio State ahead, Indiana has a chance to move up. While their ranking doesn't matter much right now, their performance in this crucial game could significantly impact their playoff hopes. 6. Notre Dame, B. The Irish have benefited from the slip-ups of teams ahead of them, but the loss to Northern Illinois should weigh more heavily. Still, after that loss, Notre Dame's strong performance keeps them in the hunt. A win against the Army could solidify their position. 7. Alabama, B. Alabama moved up due to the team's struggles ahead of them, but their easy win over Mercer shouldn't be enough to justify a jump over Miami. The Crimson Tide are still a playoff contender, but they need more vital wins to back up their ranking. 8. Miami, C. After a week off, Miami moved up, but they must be frustrated seeing Alabama leapfrog them. They have the talent to contend, but must prove themselves in a more challenging matchup. 9. Mississippi, A+. Mississippi rightfully moved up after Georgia beat Tennessee. The Rebels have been strong all season, sitting in a good position for a playoff berth with a quality win over Georgia. 10. Georgia, A. Georgia's win over Tennessee puts them back in playoff contention, but they still don't deserve to be ahead of teams like Alabama or Mississippi. Their path to the playoff is murky but not impossible. 11. Tennessee, B+. Tennessee didn't drop as much as expected after losing to Georgia, but their other loss to Arkansas might come back to haunt them. They remain in the race, but their resume could have been stronger. 12. Boise State, C. Boise State seems destined for a tough climb to the playoffs, as they don't control their own destiny with the SEC and Power 5 teams ahead. Even with a solid season, their strength of schedule remains a concern. 13. Southern Methodist, B. SMU is on the outside looking in, needing to win the AAC title to have any chance at the playoff. They'll need chaos to help their case and have limited chances to move up. 14. Brigham Young, C+. BYU should have beaten Kansas and may regret their loss. Despite this, they still have a better resume than Boise State, but they dropped below them in the rankings. The Cougars' path to a first-round bye is slim. 15. Texas A&M, A. Texas A&M is in limbo, with a good win over a wrongly ranked Missouri team. They could still win the SEC, but their season hinges on big games against Auburn and Texas. 16. Colorado, C. Colorado has been hot, but their ranking still reflects a lack of respect from the committee. Despite their impressive performance, the Buffalo's chances at the playoff are slim. 17. Clemson, B. Clemson moved up after a narrow win over Pittsburgh. With an ACC title still in play, the Tigers have some hope, but they need things to go their way. 18. South Carolina, C+. South Carolina had a big win over Missouri, but remained outside the playoff picture. They need a lot of chaos to have any shot at making the playoffs. 19. Army, B. Army has earned respect, but its undefeated record still lacks quality wins. A game against Notre Dame will define its season and determine whether it can move up in the rankings. 20. Tulane, A. Tulane has locked up a spot in the American Championship game and remains in the playoff race, but with 2 losses, they'll need significant help to break through. 21. Arizona State, A. Arizona State has impressed with a decisive win over Kansas State and a potential Big 12 title. However, their ranking could be higher, given the strength of their schedule. 22. Iowa State, B. Iowa State bounced back after a rough stretch, but still faces a tough climb to the playoff. They'll need to win the Big 12 and get help elsewhere. 23. Missouri, F. Missouri didn't drop despite a loss to South Carolina, which raises questions about the committee's consistency. They don't deserve to stay ranked with that result. 24. UNLV, C+. UNLV's 8-2 record looks good, but their best win came against a .500 team. Their ranking reflects a weak schedule strength and limited playoff potential. 25. Illinois, B+. Illinois has increased in the rankings, but their recent losses to Oregon and Penn State leave them with a tough road to climb. They're a good team, but not a significant playoff contender.